Joining me now live in our Lagos studio to discuss this development and much more, I have managing partner, Kathina Advisory. Good to have you on the breakfast show today, Wale Ogundare.
Thank you very much for having me.
We're having cautions from the World Bank and then the International Monetary Fund, especially on the path of recovery. Now, the IMF suggests that we might not see any strong growth until the year 2022. That's just keeping it conservative, saying that we might likely be at pre-pandemic levels by the year 2022. But it's also pegging our GDP growth rate at 1.5%. It says due to the weak policies and regulatory framework we have at this point in time, it's just going to be a gradual growth. This is a little bit of a different picture than what the government at this point in time is pushing, saying that we might likely see the GDP grow well over 2.5, 2.6% at this point in time. How do these two reports come to you?
So some Nigerians won't get tired of repeating the same thing over and over again, and I join into that sect of Nigerians. The macroeconomic policies set up in Nigeria are not consistent. And when your macro policies are not consistent, e.g., your monetary policies, your fiscal policies, when they are not consistent, it creates a problem. That's why you keep on having this, because you see, the government doesn't have a defined program to lift Nigerians out of poverty. I've said it before, there are 200 million Nigerians. 100 million spend less than $2 per day. Another 97 million are grappling between $2 and $9 per day. And only about 3-4 million Nigerians can spend anything above $10 per day. That's about 144,000 every month. So if you look at it, there are only 3.7 million Nigerians can spend above $10 per day, which is 144,000 per month. Then you must ask yourself some pertinent questions. What sort of policies can we set up to begin to move people out of the below $2 per day above? What we're seeing is that those in the middle, the $2 to the $9 segment in the middle, are being dragged further down into poverty. So all of a sudden, the latest report I saw from the UN is saying that there will be about 120 million Nigerians dragged below the poverty line. That is worrisome. So when you see these kinds of reports, contradicting each other, oh, we're going to grow, oh, we won't grow, oh, we're going to grow, oh, we won't grow, there's a problem. And because of our over-reliance on oil, again, oil prices have gone to about $60, and the next thing we hear is that local oil prices are going to rise. I hear somebody saying that the VAT should be increased from 7.5%. VAT, most people don't even understand VAT. VAT is like a retrogressive tax. It's a fiscal policy that cuts across everybody.
I'd like to take you on that now. One of those bodies and quarters saying that we have to increase our value-added tax level is also the IMF is saying, well, by now it should be at least 10%, talking about revenue generation capacity and how to sustain efforts in country and not necessarily look out for borrowing as much as we are doing right now. So it's saying that by 2022, we should have value-added tax at 10% and then 15% by 2025. Then we can start saying that we would have a sustainable plan towards recovery and having the necessary funds to manage the economy.
So there's a saying, you cannot tax your way into prosperity. If there are no growth initiatives amongst the citizens, taxing them will only tax them to death. You can't tax your way into prosperity. Nations who tax provide opportunities for growth. In Nigeria, where we provide our own electricity, we tar the roads, we pretty much do everything almost all by ourselves, and that kind of government is saying, I want to tax you further. They can't tax their way into prosperity, I'm sorry, until we begin to see growth initiatives in Nigeria that are sustainable. We're not going anywhere. We've recently seen that one of our major forex earners, which is funds repatriation, has tanked. This was from about some 21 billion several years ago to about less than 8 billion today. So when you look at all of those indicators, you have created an environment that is banditry was, top of the agenda a few years ago or a few weeks ago. And you begin to see all sorts of innuendos around Nigeria. The PR today around the country is extremely poor. And that PR is not something you can cure overnight. For me, and I don't want to get into all the things that government needs to do, but simply put, the moment they're not able to manage this economy productively, I think the government has no idea right now on how to do anything. So they're just confused. You know, this thing that you put your car in neutral and just let it roll. That's what I think is going on with Nigeria today. There is no defined plan to say, look, from a policy perspective, from a regulatory perspective, from a perspective of the demography of the country that we're running, this is how we want to address the issues across all the 6 geo zones. I see no indicator as such.
So what do you make of documents like the Economic Sustainability Plan? We are looking at the Petroleum Industry Governance Bill also being expected to be passed into law by the end of the first quarter of this year, and then the Finance Act as well. What do you make of these documents if they are not helping us chart to steer through the current macroeconomic indices we are dealing with? Then what's the impact then?
So that's the challenge a lot of us have. If you look at both the finance bill and the PIB has been there forever. Let's even talk about the finance bill. Yeah, let's even talk about the finance bill that has recently, been passed into law. That finance bill is full of loopholes that a lot of us don't agree with. It is not that single document that will chart the right course for Nigeria. So, you see, let me mention something very briefly. Every country must rely on external funding from people across the world, countries across the world, to help it grow. Nigeria is in no position today to attract those kind of funding. And because we don't have, again, let me talk about something I'm very passionate about. We don't have a brand narrative as a country. In Nigeria, who are we, what are we selling, who do we represent to the rest of the world? Until we do that and we go across, look, we're still inundated with things like classism, ethnicity, religion. We're bogged down with too many factors as it is. You must cut through all of that factors and say, look, to the world, this is what we represent. And see funds getting attracted. Ghana, next door. Nigerians are going to Ghana to set up businesses. So Ghana is thriving. Ghana is attracting a lot more FDIs than Nigeria. It's unbelievable. But that's reality. Until you create an enabling environment, and that hasn't been created here. And I think the federal should take the leading steps around this. A lot of people usually say, oh, but they share money to the state governors. What are the governors doing all the time? Somebody usually takes a cue from somebody. If the federal is seen to be living lavish, all sorts of things going on at the federal level, 9 billion naira in the budgets to repair the NAS assembly, all those things will not all go well. So the state governments will take a cue from the federal. And that's what it is. Until we do those things and say, we want to create the right brand narrative for Nigeria to start attracting all those funds that will help us grow. Because check this out. We do not have enough money. All this oil money we talk about is chicken change. Those monies are not enough to restructure this country. You need those foreign funds. And you must attract them in a sustainable way across all relevant sectors.
Wrapping up our conversation at this point in time, in less than a minute, I'll just like you to wrap up your thoughts. Now, in terms of what we've seen over the past few months, the reaction of government to cautions by the IMF and a whole lot more. I remember last year when the IMF and World Bank were raising red flags as to our borrowing plan. Those reports were sidelined until the federal government itself started panicking that, well, we are going well beyond our threshold. And the initial analysis was that we hadn't yet reached the 50% threshold to the GDP and a whole lot more. But now, do you think once again we're going to see that body language where it's going to be conflicting? No, they said it's this, but we are working towards this. Do you think we're still going to have that back and forth in terms of body language between these international bodies, the cautions they throw, and then the government playing defensive?
Of course, we'll continue to see that. And it's all a function of what is going on in the country. We'll continue to see conflicting reports. Look, we don't even have a census report that tells us exactly how many we are in Nigeria. You start from there. Those are the basics. When you don't have that, then the government all of a sudden clamps down and says, look, everybody go and register for NIN. We keep on taking knee-jerk reactions. You don't take knee-jerk reactions to run you don't take knee-jerk reactions to run a business. We're taking knee-jerk reactions in running a whole country. You know, so that is my problem. There is no defined holistic view to say, if you look at Nigeria today, what is the one issue that we can address that cuts right across everybody? What's that macro issue? We're not looking at it in that manner. How can we lift people out of poverty? We're not. Dishing 20,000 or 5,000, whatever it is that the VP does, won't do anything. It won't do anything. And until you get some, look, let me quickly talk about the National Integrated Infrastructure Master Plan. There's an infrastructure master plan in Nigeria that hasn't been implemented. Everybody's just looking at it. That plan says if you can quickly address the issues of transport and energy, those two issues, very quickly, you'll see a massive shift in the fortunes of a country. But no, nobody's doing anything about it.
Well, thank you very much for your time on the Breakfast Show today, Wale Ogudare. We cannot continue to play lip service to all of these burning issues. Action has to be taken. Thank you very much for your time once again.
Thank you.